Hi there, my name is Walter Kors and I'm the owner and the founder of Safari Online. And this year we're celebrating our 21st birthday at Safari Online and we're extremely grateful for that. In this video, I would like to compare and contrast two of the heavyweight safari destinations. So please follow along and listen up. Over the last 28 years, I've had the privilege of guiding safaris in Southern Africa, of planning hundreds of safaris over the last 20 years for foreign travelers, and then finally also being able to travel and to experience the destinations and the lodges and the countries. And having personally experienced both Botswana and Kenya, I would like to add these thoughts.
Let's compare these countries side by side. From wildlife and safari activities to travel logistics, costs, seasons, and even what you can add onto your trip, so that by the end you will know which destination suits you best. Let's get started. The first difference starts before you've even seen your first elephant. Botswana usually involves flying via Cape Town or Johannesburg in South Africa before connecting into the safari regions. Getting to Kenya is generally a little easier, especially if you're traveling from North America, Europe, or Asia.
Once you're there though, the experience changes dramatically. And this brings us to our second comparison point, internal travel. This is one of the biggest differences that many people don't realize.
Botswana's major safari regions sit very close together. That means short bush flights lasting only 20 to 40 minutes with virtually no wasted travel time. Kenya is different. The Masai Mara, Amboseli, and Samburu are spread across a much larger area. Moving between the regions often means longer traveling times and connecting through Nairobi, but it's dependent on the season. Third comparison point, wildlife. Now let's talk about the reason we're all here, the wildlife. If witnessing the Great Migration has always been on your bucket list, then Kenya wins. Kenya is also exceptional for lions, cheetah, both black and white rhino. In the Masai Mara conservancies and other wildlife regions in Kenya, wildlife is often seen alongside cattle. Livestock can be seen alongside elephants, lions, and endangered species. This is certainly unique. But Botswana answers with something equally impressive to the Great Migration. Nearly a third of Africa's elephants live here. Botswana is also one of Africa's strongest destinations for African wild dog and offers extraordinary water-based wildlife viewing in the Okavango Delta. In Botswana, you will be in the wilderness and not see cattle or livestock, but be in a true wilderness setting, often far away from towns and communities. Only a handful of tented camps that are on the outskirts of the wilderness regions are closer to the human settlements. Fourth comparison point, safari activities. Both countries offer outstanding game drives, but Botswana offers more ways to experience the African bush. You can explore by motorboat, traditional Mokoro canoe, you can go fishing, enjoy walking safaris, helicopter flights over the Okavango Delta, night drives, salt pan sleep outs, and more. And this all away from any crowds in a true wilderness setting. Kenya offers incredible cultural experiences. Hot air balloon safaris, walking safaris, and fishing in selected conservancies. And please note that in high season, many regions of Kenya are busy, especially the reserves themselves. So you need to choose wisely to avoid the crowds and don't make everything about the Great Migration. There's so much more that Kenya has to offer.
This brings us to our fifth comparison point, the cultural experience. This is where Kenya really stands apart, and I say this after having just traveled to Kenya with my son Yano in May this year.
You're not just visiting wildlife reserves, you're visiting landscapes that have been shared with Masai and Samburu people for generations. Meeting local communities, learning about their traditions, and understanding how they've lived alongside wildlife for centuries adds another layer to the safari. Botswana certainly has fascinating indigenous cultures, particularly the San Bushmen. But cultural immersion isn't usually the centerpiece of the safari in the same way it is in Kenya. Sixth comparison point, budget and style. Kenya caters for almost every budget. From budget camping safaris, safari guest houses, safari hotels, comfortable lodges, through to ultra-luxury private villas. There's something nearly for everyone. Because it's more accessible, some areas can become very busy if you don't choose your lodge carefully. Kenya's park fees have increased dramatically and are now $200 per person per day in the Masai Mara Reserve between June and December. This has been introduced to push more tourist arrivals into low and shoulder season. Botswana has taken a completely different approach, and a very successful one at that. The country follows what is known as a low volume, low impact, high value tourism model. Botswana also has a handful of exceptionally good mobile camping operators and good mid-range lodges. But most camps are intimate luxury tented camps designed to leave almost no permanent footprint on the environment. If you want a pure wilderness experience, then Botswana is the right one. Seventh comparison point, when should you go? Botswana's dry season from May through October consistently delivers outstanding wildlife viewing. If you're looking for excellent value, April and November are often overlooked as great shoulder season months. Green season offers phenomenal specials between December and March. Kenya requires a little bit more planning with 2 rain seasons. If your dream is a great migration, you'll want to travel between July and October. Shifting the focus away from the great migration lets you escape peak season crowds and inflated costs, allowing for an intimate year-round safari experience. Eighth comparison point, safety. People often ask which destination feels safer. Safari operators in both countries work to exceptionally high standards. Professional guides, experienced pilots, and carefully managed lodges make both destinations extremely safe. And considering the craziness in the world at the moment, the game reserves, the parks, the wildlife areas are some of the safest regions on the planet.
Final conclusion. Botswana or Kenya? If you've been dreaming about untouched wilderness, incredible wildlife sighting, diversity of activities with regards to water activities and land activities, and you've been wanting to add Victoria Falls or Cape Town to your trip, Botswana is the right destination for you. There's no crowds. And if you've been desiring to see the Great Migration and you want to have exceptional game viewing, possibly ballooning over the Masai Mara, and wanting to meet the cultures of the Masai and the Samburu, and ending your trip on a tropical beach, then Kenya is the right choice for you. And as the owner of Safari Online, I want to tell you that no matter what choice you make, you're going to experience some of the finest wildlife Africa has to offer. If you need any help with your trip or with choices to make, feel free to contact us. Good luck with your choice.